Thomas Jefferson once said, "If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done." I think that's a perfectly accurate description of his life, because his entire life he was doing things that never had been done for the goal of something the world had never yet seen. In his early life, he grew up in a good home. He was very well off as far as family wealth. He inherited his father's farm when he was only 14 years old. It was about 5,000 acres, and he decided he didn't want that, so he bought himself the top of a mountain where he built his famed Monticello. When he was 17, he studied for 2 years at the College of William and Mary, after which he studied law under George Wythe, who he would later work with on the Constitutional Convention. He first stepped into the political scene when he became part of the Virginia state legislature. He was very young, one of the youngest members of the legislature. Definitely something to be proud of. He later wrote a summary review of the rights of British America. This was something that nobody was really prepared for. There was a lot of unrest in the colonies because they were oppressed by the British Crown. In the summary review of the rights of British America, it was very slanderous to King George III. Some people liked it, some people didn't. He basically explained how they were oppressed and how it was the fault of the crown, and that was not something you did in those days. You never went against what the crown or what the king said. So it was very eye-opening and very inspiring to a lot of people. Later, he ended up writing the Declaration of Independence. There was only one mistake, and that was corrected by George Washington himself. There was many policies and principles in the Declaration of Independence that no other government had. Everyone had equal rights and equal opportunity, and he knew it was going to be a long road ahead of them to gain those rights, because nobody was ready for it. It was something the world had yet to see. After writing the Declaration of Independence, he worked many years under the Constitutional Convention and throughout the Revolutionary War. He helped create the Constitution, which was probably the greatest document ever created. Even today, it is still greatly prized as one of Americans' most prized possessions. He became the third president of the United States in 1804. He served 2 terms. Actually, that was 1801 to 1804, then 1804 to 1809. He did serve the 2 terms. He bought the Louisiana Purchase, which is what he is most greatly known for, and he often had gifts brought back to him from the travels of Lewis and Clark. He died on July 4th, 1826, and died just before John Adams did. He had a running bet with him over who would die first. Both of them thought they lost. I find him very inspiring because he did so many things that were contrary to what the world was telling him and what the world had believed for centuries. He was so intelligent and so smart that so many people just couldn't keep up with him. There's a common phrase that if you're the smartest person in the room, to find a bigger room. He did that throughout his entire life. Thank you.